Mr. President, another multiplayer shooter just went down.
Unlike the Twitter manager over at Fragpunk, I don't celebrate the news of a game and their studio closing. I try to be a decent human being after all. But the situation with Mountaintop Studio and their game Specter Divide really makes you wonder, what happened over there? How did a game with a reported 400k players, 30 million plus in funding raised last year, and promotion for one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, Shroud, die in only 6 months? I would say that's a record time, but I don't think anyone's beating Flopcord anytime soon. So what happened? It was only 5 months ago where Mountaintop Studio CEO Nate Mitchell was reassuring their audience in an IGN article that the game was alive and well and wasn't going anywhere. Unfortunately, the double meaning in that statement really stood out. This game didn't go anywhere. It didn't grow at all. And in those 5 months, Specter Divide would go on to lose more than 80% of their player base. Not in 5 months, mind you. Specter Divide lost 80% of their player base in 1 month after release. Now, it is natural for games to lose their player base over time. It's kind of like Thanos, it is inevitable. But I don't think I've ever seen a game have this steep a decline in player count from something that wasn't like server instability or bugs. This was just an inability to retain players. And only 6 months after release, the studio would announce that not only was the game being cancelled, but the studio was shuttered as well. And that breaks my heart. How did we get here? It was speculated, if not confirmed, that they raised over 30 million last year alone. Where did that money go? Shroud, one of the biggest streamers promoting their game, why has he been so quiet and so quickly after the release? And even now, after they've announced their closure, what happened to that partnership? Well, according to developers themselves, they miscalculated their funds and the projected revenue on PC didn't reach expectation. Taken directly from a developer of Specter Divide, they say, "We spent more than expected to get Xbox plus PlayStation out the door alongside Season 1. Then, we spent more on marketing Season 1 than we originally budgeted because we believed it was necessary. Season 1 was also delayed, and between October and February, we made far less money on PC than we expected. Altogether, the budget was consumed earlier than we forecasted. We stretched it as far as we could as an indie studio, but as I said in the post, we ultimately couldn't make the math work." Here's the thing, and here's the main reason I'm making this video. I do not like the prevailing opinion and the tone of conversation around the developers of this game. I try not to swear, but it really fucking sucks that these guys that were clearly passionate about their games are out of a job and their passion project has been scrapped. That sucks. And ultimately, I don't think it was the mismanagement of funds that led to this game's downfall. In fact, the developers themselves knew this game was a gamble. In their letter to fans, Nate and the Mountaintop team say, "We wanted to deliver something innovative and original in a crowded genre that would bring friends together around unforgettable moments. We shook up the format, created a fresh art style and universe, and partnered with some of our heroes. All of us knew from the beginning that the odds were against us, but that's what we signed up for. It was never a surefire bet. We did it anyway." In my opinion, the biggest nail in this game's coffin was the fact that the face of the game, Shroud, barely played the game. Instead, he opted to play Deadlock and Marvel Rivals. That, in my opinion, is what really hurt this game. Not that Shroud played those games instead, but the fact that gamers had the option to play those games instead. Here's what I mean. If you were to go to the Specter Divide Steam page right now, you would see mixed reviews. That is never a good sign for a free-to-play game. In my experience, when a free-to-play game has mixed reviews, that means there are fundamental issues with the game. Either the game has moments of unplayability, either servers or bugs, or the gameplay loop itself has some glaring flaws. And while there are reviews addressing some of the connection issues with Specter Divide, by and large, the reality is this. I don't think Specter Divide was a very strong game to begin with. I apologize to the developers and the fans if that seems like an asshole thing to say, but from what I gather, a large portion of fans said that while they had fun, the duality mechanic, Specter Divide's unique trait of controlling two bodies, didn't feel like much more than a gimmick. Combine that with the frankly unstriking art style, 4 maps that weren't particularly unique or unique from one another, and there's nothing that really stands out about this game other than the fact that it's pretty colorful. pretty colorful and a bad gimmick is not enough to compete in the realm of Counter-Strike and Valorant. That, in my opinion, is a guaranteed flop. And while I'm trying to be professional, if I'm being frank, I knew this game was dead as soon as I saw it. I'm not the type of gamer that plays Counter-Strike or Valorant, but these games are interesting enough that if a friend wanted me to really check it out, I'd give it a try. But this? You couldn't pay me to try out this game. In fact, I'm not even willing to download the game just to get footage. It just doesn't look fun. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are people that love this game. If you're one of the 70 people playing right now, I am happy for you. But the point remains. I can look at Counter-Strike, Valorant, hell, even Stranova's unique anime art style and 2D gimmick. Those are interesting enough that I would try the game. But that isn't here with Specter Divide. In my opinion, there's no appeal to a general audience. And if you can't do that, then I don't believe there's a way to break out into this market. Hell, even Ubisoft's X Defiant, which is scheduled to shut down in June of this year, couldn't make it. And that game was pretty damn good. In my opinion, the game didn't fail because the developers were greedy, it didn't fail because of the monetization that they backtracked on, and no, it didn't fail because Shroud didn't stream it enough. And yes, although the funds were admittedly mismanaged, I don't think even that would have saved the game. Stalling out this game's death by keeping the servers running would not have made a difference. But hey, I could be wrong. What do you think? Was it the mismanagement of funds? Was it the monetization? Was the gameplay not good enough? Let me know.